Hi everyone. Today I'm doing my review and recap and ranking of the 2024 Diamine's Inkvent Calendar, the Black Edition. Overall, I was very pleased and happy with these inks. I'm really glad I decided to step out of my comfort zone and try not only something new, like 25 something news that I potentially might not all feel equally about. Some I might hate, totally not my style at all, but I was this was really a total winner. Even the inks that were not my style at all, they're still well made and attractive, just not for me. And I'm just basically going to go over all the different the 25 swatch cards, and basically I pull out the ones I like the most, maybe group by color, talk about the ones that weren't my style. And I did write down in one of my little notebooks which one is which, so I won't forget, oh, this was a chameleon, it wasn't just a regular shimmer ink, or this was an extreme sheen, not just a regular sheen. Day number one was Baltic Breeze, which is a shimmer ink. This is a kind of a bluish shade, I guess on the lighter side, or maybe the lighter side of the medium blue, or the darker side of the lighter blue spectrum. I'm an artist, so I think about colors that way. And I obviously did not do the swatch card in the best way. I had to go back later and add more ink to it and an additional layer or two of ink up here. And I did not use the best dip pen to write the name. This was, you can see it looks just totally different. I was using a metal dip pen, my one with the purple feather, and everything else on all the swatch cards I used my Dominant Industry Ink Muddler glass dip pen. It's a little bit smaller than most dip pens, so it's a little bit harder to maneuver and write with, but I think I did a pretty good job. So that's why the name of the ink looks completely different from the rest of it, and not just because this is printed and this is in cursive. I wasn't that wild about it. I didn't hate it, but I just didn't see it in the best possible light because I wasn't using the best pen and didn't swatch it 100% correctly. But now that I've put more ink down on the card and written it with the other dip pen, and of course I did little short writing samples about each ink for all of them, I'm liking it a little bit more than I originally did. So perhaps I will be, I mean, of course I have to get through all of them. I will be putting it in a pen at some point, but blue is my second favorite color, so yeah, I do really like this one. Day number two is Wilted Rose. This is a standard ink because I've been getting more into brown inks over this past year. I really like this, and particularly because it's not just a regular brown, because you can tell by the name, it's a mixture of pinky, lighter red tones and brown, and you can even see a little bit of purple in the way this swatching dried out in the heaviest part of it. So yeah, this is another definite winner for me. I would be very much, I'm looking forward to putting this one in a pen. And day number three, this is one of my absolute favorites. I could have even put more ink down on it. This looks so freaking beautiful, and particularly when the ink is all wet and thick and hasn't really dried yet, the shimmer was even more intense. Then I don't think it's, yeah, you can see it a little bit reflecting in the light. This is so gorgeous. This is a Star Bright ink. I am a huge fan of Star Bright inks already, and they only had a few of them in this Inkvent Calendar. Green is my third favorite color, 100%. This is definitely one of the inks I would buy a full bottle of. Day number four is Forest Gâteau. This is a scented ink, and it still bears a little bit of the scent. To me, I really love this ink. It very much evokes the look and the feel and the scent of the Forest Gâteau cake. The beautiful kind of a winey, purpley, reddish color with some brown undertones. 100% a winner. This would probably be in my, top 10 of favorites. Day five is Icy Lilac, not Joy Lilac. I am such a stooge, but I felt a little better when I saw a few other people saying they also misread the label, because sometimes because of the color of the label plus the typeface they used and the color of the typeface, it kind of makes it really almost impossible to read some of these. So Diamine needs to do a little bit of a better job, or if they don't want to change up what's already been working for the last 5 years they've been doing this, do what I'm told Colorverse did. They repeat the name of the ink on the inside of the little door, so there's no confusion and people aren't struggling to read it because of artistic choices. And so this, as yeah, this is a shimmer ink, Icy Lilac, not Joy Lilac. It's a very kind of similar to Baltic Breeze, but the shimmer particles aren't, 100% the same. They're more like silvery instead of the like coppery rose goldy from Baltic Breeze. This is a nice ink, a little bit lighter than Baltic Breeze, so I probably wouldn't get a full bottle of this, but I do, like, appreciate the prettiness of what they were achieving. Day number 6 is Cranberry. This was marked as a standard ink, but it seemed like they mislabeled it, or they were just kind of throwing a surprise at us, like, wow, you didn't expect this. It turned out to be a sheening ink, at least, if not an extreme sheen. I saw some people's swatches, basically the entire thing almost, or sometimes even the entire swatch, like not even like 1%. It was like totally covered in the golden sheen. So I like the, base cranberry color. I'm not sure how I would feel about like writing practical, realistic every day or even on a regular basis with an ink that goes down to pretty like reddish pink color but dries up to like a goldy sheen. Can you, yeah, I think you can see it a little bit in the light. I mean, you can, you choose what the inks you like to write with is what I'm like fumbling to say. But if you're not really like doing it for like a greeting card or artsy or calligraphy or something, you just want something like practical or so-called professional to write with, or you just don't enjoy like sheening inks in your own personal writing, this isn't one I would recommend. I liked, yeah, I like the base color, but it just not so much when it dries with the sheen on it, unless I were, doing it for like cards or something like that. And day 7 was another stupid mistake of mine. I learned a big lesson from that. This is a chameleon ink, lemon and lime. And because I had never used chameleon inks before, and I naively thought, oh, chameleon, that means color changing, like the endless alchemy and Monteverde color changing inks I've, heard so much about, but don't have myself yet. And I'm thinking, oh, cool, this is going down a really like brownie color, and there's like sparkles of the shimmer of like yellow and greenish, and I'm even seeing a like pink in there. Oh wow, this is so cool. And oh, surprise, I hadn't 100 million% rinsed out the paintbrush, so colors from like probably like cranberry were still clinging onto it, and that totally messed up the swatch. And I actually made a whole video saying, oh wow, this is cool, wow, I'm liking what I'm seeing, and then surprise, this is what the ink actually looks like. I'm such a stooge. This is not an ink I would ever see myself using for anything but like artwork and painting, unless it were an extremely like, broad nib or like a huge stub, because it's just, barely legible on most papers, and in like smaller nibs, even like a medium or a regular broad nib might not be enough to help it to show up properly on camera. Day number 8, Marley, is a standard ink. This is kind of, it came out differently on different people's swatches I was seeing. For me, it came out kind of like a purpley grayish color, but drying to more of a blue-gray at the top. Some people felt it looked more like a bluish gray, or some even it was more just like straight standard basic gray with maybe a little undertone of purple or blue mixed in. So much depends upon paper, if you're using it for painting or like fountain pen friendly papers versus non-friendly papers, or even in the fountain pen friendly paper realm, some of them just they absorb inks a little bit differently, or show off, properties a little bit better than others. So, I don't know if I would get a full bottle of this. It's attractive. I'm going to be using it, but it's just definitely not in the among the top inks I could see myself like wanting to write within a full bottle, particularly because it's a little bit dry, I guess, or too light. I prefer, bright, happy, like vibrant, sunny, darker colors, purple, blues, reds, greens, teals, like oranges, like bright colors like that. And this is another color that's it's attractive, but I just could not see myself like getting a full bottle of. Day 9, Wishing Tree. This is a chameleon, as I found out later through research. Chameleon, or at least in the diamine industry, the diamine brand, it means it's duochrome, like duo shading shimmer. So depending on what angle you're viewing it from, or like when the light is hitting it and such like that, the shimmers will pick up in different colors. Yeah, you can see a little bit of it there, so it looks, goldy, and I think this is like supposed to be gold or like, greeny or like antique rose gold kind of like that. I heard it described as a swampy green, and I can also see a bit of a gray green color in it. But this is just not my own particular style. I'll be using it, but probably won't be buying a full bottle of it. Day number 10 is Chilly Nights, which is another Starbright ink, and this is after my own heart. I love this ink from the very first, just like day number 3, Noble Fur, because blue is my second favorite color, and the extreme shimmer of the Starbright. This is just so absolutely beautiful, and the bigger the nib, the prettier it's going to look. I will 100% want to get a full bottle of this. I mean, I do have a number of blues already, but I don't have a Starbright blue, and this is just, it's so absolutely gorgeous. It's pretty safe to say this is going to be in my top 5 of inks. Maybe, yeah, I'm pretty sure in my top 10, definitely, maybe even in the top 5. I'll have to see when I rank them out after I finish recapping and going through them. Day 11 is Grotto, which is in extreme sheen ink. I like the base coat, maybe not enough to get a full bottle, but because it's an extreme sheen, it dries up to having kind of like a golden color, an orangey look on it. And as I was saying, yeah, do whatever you want, like write with whatever colors you prefer that sing to, as long as you don't have to worry about, oh, people at school or work will only let me use like, very dark certain kinds of, blacks and blues and maybe like a dark green or gray, whatever, here and there. But this just isn't something I could see myself like writing with on a practical, realistic basis. I like the ink to pretty much stay the color it goes down as, not, oh, this is a pretty like orangey green, but then it's drying up to look like it has a golden sheen. That's just something I probably would get more use out of if I were making like, greeting cards for people or doing something artistic. Really nice ink, but not enough of my style given the extreme sheen to want a full bottle of it. And day number 12 is Snow Globe. This is a chameleon ink. I really like the blue, one of my, favorite inks in this set. Blue is my second favorite color. That, yeah, you can see the chameleon a little bit. I will probably would like to get a full bottle of this. It's more on the like lighter medium side of blue. I personally prefer like darker blues and like darker medium blues, not necessarily so much on this side of the blue spectrum, but it's really, really pretty. I could definitely see myself getting a full bottle of this. Day number 13 is Lullaby, which is a standard ink. The purple is my favorite color, but this kind of like, girly girl, like more like pastel-y kind of purple isn't really my style at all. I'm so proudly tomboyish. I take pride in not liking so-called like girly colors, which means like, pinks and, well, at least lighter Barbie types of pinks and like more lightweight pastel-y purples like this. And also it's just not so legible necessarily in, fines, extra fines, and mediums, the types of nibs I usually prefer to write in, although who knows, it might look differently on certain kinds of paper. Pretty ink, I can admire it from an aesthetic perspective, but just for my own, personal taste, not the shade and the hue and the type of purple which I, personally gravitate towards. 14 is Mint Twist, which is another chameleon ink. I love the green, my third favorite color. I could possibly get a full bottle of this, although I personally prefer darker greens, as I've said so many times, like jewel-like tones, like malachite, jade, emerald, and teal is my absolute favorite kind of green. So I will be looking forward to putting this in a pen at some point, but I don't know if I would want to get a full bottle of it. But of course, when I do much longer like writing sessions with it, I'll have a more like complete idea. Maybe I feel differently about it. Day 15 is Sleigh Ride, which is an extreme sheening ink. Again, I like the concept. I think it's pretty, but not really my own personal style. I like my ink to go down the same color and like dry the same color instead of, oh, surprise, it's when you hold. I mean, I admire that's kind of pretty when you like hold it up to the light or see it reflected in the light. It takes on a completely different color. That's cool, but it's just not what I personally am looking for in an ink unless I'm like deliberately doing like an art project or something like that. Day 16 is Tundra, which is a standard ink, and it's definitely a gray ink, totally not my style at all. Gray isn't a color I could ever see myself getting into. I was proven wrong about not liking brown inks, but for me, gray, you have to have the right kind of paper, the right kind of ink, and the right nib size. It all has to come together. Otherwise, it just stands too much of a chance of looking kind of like borderline illegible, too light on the page, more like, a pencil, just not really my style. It's pretty, but I'm definitely probably almost certainly not going to be getting a full bottle of this. Day 17 is Winterberry, which is another chameleon ink, and I really love this shade of like reddish pink, and there's even a little bit of orange, and the shimmer is really, really pretty. I would love to get a full bottle of this. This is probably in my top 10 of inks from this set. Day number 18 is Vibe, which came on my secular birthday and was an awesome, 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 incredible, marvelous, stupendous birthday present to myself. This ink is after my own heart. I love how it goes down a really like dark, vibrant, gorgeous shade of teal and then dries up to having this amazing purple sheen on it. And I did say the other extreme sheening inks weren't really my style at all, because like the gold pretty much, or the goldy green, the green kind of just overtook the base coats of what looked going down kind of like a red or like a reddish orange or an orangey red. But this, because it combines my favorite color and my third favorite color, this is 100% a win, because wow, this is an amazing, a totally awesome ink. I am totally going to be getting a full bottle of this eventually. This is in my top 10, if not my top 5. Number 19 is Fruit Cocktail. As you can see, this was feathering like crazy. It was a little bit better when I wrote up at the top the name of like the Diamine Inkvent, the year, and I had to write the name again because it feathered so much in the day of the calendar. And a lot of people, I didn't really mind so much, but they said the scent was not their style at all. Some people, it even kind of reminded them of medicine a little bit. I thought it smelled nice like fruit, but people smell different things depending on their like experience and their like, nose, like whatever, the way their nose is wired to smell stuff. But I liked it more when it was like wet ink and just going down. It dried to more of like a pinky kind of orange. Nothing wrong with this color, but I just like prefer my oranges to stay orange. Day 20 is Potpourri, which was like way too dry for me. This is a standard ink. It's on the purple gray spectrum. Again, this is not the type of purple which I personally gravitate towards at all. And combined with like being so dry as I was like writing with it, this is not an ink I would be getting a full bottle of. But again, I admire it from an aesthetic perspective. Day 21 is Cosmic Glow, which was like 100% one of my absolute favorite inks in this set. It's definitely in my top 10, if not my top 5. It's a very nice, wet, smooth, flowing ink. It was like so wet. I even unfortunately like smudged the name a little bit. I didn't realize I was touching it, so I had to like go back and like make the letter W a little bit bigger so it would be more legible. It goes down, as you can see at the edges, a beautiful shade of blue, and it starts sheening up to a really, really pretty purple. And when the ink was the thickest, it sheened up to like an even like darker, like more different, like beautiful shade of purple. I saw a lot of people comparing it to the admittedly like way overdone trend of blue inks with a red sheen, but I saw this looked purple sheeny to me. It did not look like a red sheen at all, and I'm quite familiar with like, seeing and using inks that do have the blue with the reddish sheen. This is like 100% a winner. Combines like my two favorite colors. Just I can't wait to get a full bottle. Day 22 is Nutmeg, which is a shimmer ink. This is a kind of like a grayish ink, not really my style, and you can see the golden shimmers. This is probably not something I'm going to be getting a full bottle of, just because I said I've been getting more into brown this past year, but grays, I'm totally not into the gray spectrum yet at all, even if like I'm starting to get a little bit more into certain kinds of earth tones. Just not my style. It's pretty, but probably not going to be getting a full bottle after the 12 mil runs out. Day number 23 is Pine Needle, which is a chameleon ink. Green is my third favorite color. This is really pretty. Not necessarily my like favorite like shade and hue of green. I prefer, yes, I said, darker greens, and this is it dried up more to a lighter green, or maybe on the lighter side of the medium part of the green spectrum. It's really pretty. Maybe I would get a full bottle, but when it comes to the greens in this set, like Noble Fur, that's 100%. But I would not, like leave it out of consideration. Just maybe it wouldn't be like in my top 10 of like must get a full bottle. Day number 24 is Salted Caramel. This is a shimmer ink. It's pretty. Again, it's something I admire from an aesthetic perspective. Just probably would not be getting a complete bottle of this for myself in like 9 or 10 months whenever they issue it. I like it in, theory, but like when would I ever realistically want to like regularly use inks that have like a goldy sheen or even like a regular goldy color? That's just not the kinds of like inks I naturally gravitate towards writing, but I can see it really goes well with, like a holiday theme. Like maybe you want to use this for like writing some holiday recipes for baked goods, or of course like doing the cards or like cute illustrations for children, something like that. And finally, day 25 in Extreme Sheen. This is good tidings. I wouldn't have known this because this was my first ever calendar, but apparently they've been matching up the final day to the color of the calendar. And so this is a gorgeous, lovely black ink. Somehow they made a black holiday Christmassy ink work. But for me, it still looks like a very, very like dark purple. It doesn't really it show up as black to me on this card, and this beautiful like golden shimmer. This is a lovely, absolute beautiful winner of an ink, and it yeah is it picking up in the light? It looks kind of more like maybe like a greenish, goldy shimmer in certain other lights. But yeah, this is a lovely ink. I would possibly want to get this one. It's like really, really pretty. I sorted all of the inks by color, and starting with lemon and lime. This is the only ink in the yellow spectrum. That's good because like yellow ink, I guess not a lot of people like it. It has to be exactly the right kind of yellow to be like legible. Like most people, I guess, only prefer to use it for artwork. And these were the three green inks: the Pine Needle, the Noble Fur, and the Mint Twist. Of these, yes, of course, Noble Fur. That's my absolute favorite of the greens. And this was only like true proper orange, the fruit cocktail. Probably not going to be getting a full bottle of that. And the good tidings, I'm not really sure how to classify this. It's, the gold sheen might put it in with the other extreme sheeners, but the black and the dark purple, so in a class all by itself, like really awesome ink. And next, I'm not really sure how to classify these: the Salted Caramel and the Wilted Rose. Should I put this with the reds because it does have a pinky undertone? Should I do it with the earth tones? Like, where should I put this with the other like earthier tones, or is it all by itself because it's the caramel color? And these are the reds. Most of them are sheens. The Winterberry, like 100% my favorite of the reds in this collection, and the Cranberry, like probably not going to get a full bottle of that just because of the sheening. And the Grotto, nice, but probably not because I'm nothing against sheening inks. I have plenty, but just I prefer them to. I guess I'm not really like a personal fan of like the gold sheening like totally taking over. I'm like, for example, like the traditional blue sheen or the blue ink. I'm totally unscripted. The blue ink with like a red sheen, or I guess like the purple ink with like a green sheen, or just like something like that. But gold just really isn't a color I like to write with. And then the Sleigh Ride is the last in the red spectrum. And then we had the beautiful, there were so many blues, I put them into different piles. And then we had the purples, the Vibe. This is gorgeous. I would classify it as purple because even though it goes down teal, it sheens up to purple, like 100%. One of my favorites. Cosmic Glow. I'm going to be definitely getting a full bottle of this potpourri. Nice aesthetically, but not really my style too. Like girly girl pastel-y. Forest Ghetto. This could also be classified in the red spectrum, but comes off more purple to me. Lullaby, not my style at all, just too girly girl, purpley, pastel-y. I mean, yeah, purple I like, but I don't like pastel purple so much. It's just too girly girl and Barbie type to me. And finally, the blues, there were the most of them, which isn't a surprise because, like, blue ink is a classic standard, and apparently it's so popular and common because it's the color that looks the easiest on the eyes. Here was Joy Lilac. I'm sorry, Icy Lilac, not Joy Lilac. I had to correct myself on the bottom of the swatch card. Probably won't be getting a full bottle. It's just a little bit too light and pastel-y for me. Chilly Nights 100% will be getting a full bottle because, like, look at this gorgeous, gorgeous Star Bright sheen. It's so freaking pretty, particularly when the light hits it. This is the Snow Globe, the Chameleon. I'm really probably get a full bottle of this at some point. Maybe not the first of the full bottles from this Inkvent, but definitely, like, eventually I would love to get a full bottle of this. And this was Baltic Breeze. Not sure I would get a full bottle, but I'm looking forward to putting it in a pen at some point and doing some more longer form writing with it. And this was Marley. Maybe that should have gone in with the purples or the gray with, yeah, Tundra is in here too. That's not really so much of a purple. Like, gray ink is just totally not my jam at all. No offense to people who like it, but that's just not what I personally use. And this is the Wishing Tree. I guess that's kind of more of a greeny color of ink, and this was the Chameleon. I like it, but just not really enough to want a full bottle. And then this was the Nutmeg. Like, how do you classify that in what color family? It probably would go best with the Salted Caramel. These are the inks I decided to rank in my top 10. Number 1 is Cosmic Glow. I just cannot resist that absolutely gorgeous combination of the blue and the purple and the kind of even the reddish sheen a little bit. And then there's Vi, which came on my secular birthday. Beautiful teal and, like, pretty dark purple sheen. Just so absolutely freaking gorgeous. And then Chilly Nights, beautiful, beautiful star bright blue. And I'm getting, like, glitter shimmer all over my fingers just from handling the swatch cards, which are totally dry. And 4 is Noble Fur. Beautiful, beautiful, like, lovely green, beautiful starbright. I cannot wait to get some. And it totally lives up to its name. It looks like a Christmas tree with, like, snow and ice just glistening in the moonlight or the sunlight. Just so freaking pretty. Number 5 is Winterberry. Like, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful red color. I'm sorry, I had the swatch cards totally backward. I'm such a stooge. I love the red with the shimmers. And then came number 6, the Snow Globe. Beautiful, beautiful blue. 7 is Mint Twist. Could not resist this beautiful shade of green. Number 8 is Forest Gâteau. Love that beautiful, like, winey, reddish, burgundy, purple color. Number 9 is Pine Needle. A beautiful, lovely shade of green shimmer. And last but not least, at number 10 is Good Tidings, because the beautiful, like, deep purple base that looks, black in certain lights, and the gorgeous golden shimmer. Yeah, I said I didn't really like, I'm sorry, sheen, but I said I didn't really like the golden sheen on the, like, the red colors, but this, it just feels like it's more of a good fit, like, more goes closer with my own personal aesthetic, what I like in inks. These are the ones I probably would not ever be getting a full bottle of, the lemon and lime and the fruit cocktail. This one, because it just feathers too much, and I personally I don't like that how it dries to more of, like, a pinkish orange instead of the, like, happy sunny, like, orange it goes down. And this is just way too light to be legible in anything but the broadest nibs. And if you're doing a paintbrush, like this, I get it would be in the lower, somewhere in my top 20. I like the Baltic Breeze and the Joy Lilac. That would also probably be in my top 20. Just not colors I would, see myself getting, like, the first out of all of them after they're released individually. And even though I said this wasn't really my style at all, it is very pretty. It would probably be somewhere in my top 20 just because I like purple, even though pastel girly girl purple isn't really my jam at all. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys again very soon. Bye.